a quiet, stuttering bakery owner in Alaska, praised by his community for his delicious pastries, was secretly living a horrific double life using his private airplane to fly young women into the frozen, isolated wilderness, not to let them go, but to hunt them down like wild game with a sniper rifle. This is the terrifying reality of Robert Hansen, a man whose twisted psychological urge drove him to become America's most sadistic human hunter. To truly understand how this monster operated right under the noses of the authorities, we have to look at the deeply unsettling psychological blueprint of his early life. Robert Hansen was not a charismatic mastermind. He was a deeply insecure man who suffered from a severe stutter and chronic acne during his youth, which led to constant rejection by women. This rejection transformed over the years into a malignant, burning hatred toward the opposite sex. When he moved to Alaska, he established a highly successful bakery, married a loving schoolteacher, and became a champion archer and hunter. To the citizens of Anchorage, he was a gentle family man. But underneath this perfect disguise, Hansen was using his expert tracking skills to plan the ultimate criminal game. His methodology was chillingly systematic. Between 1971 and 1983, Hansen targeted vulnerable women from the red light districts of Anchorage. He would kidnap them at gunpoint, drag them into his private aviation plane, and fly them out to the remote, dense forests of the Knik River, where nobody could hear their screams. Once there, Hansen would release his terrified victims into the freezing wilderness, giving them a false sense of hope. He would give them a head start to run for their lives through the snow, before tracking them down with his high-powered hunting rifle and a knife, treating human beings like wild animals. For over a decade, the dense Alaskan wilderness swallowed his crimes, leaving families devastated and the police completely clueless. The turning point in this terrifying saga occurred in the summer of 1983, thanks to the unbelievable bravery of a 17-year-old girl named Cindy Paulson. Hansen had kidnapped her and chained her inside his home, preparing to fly her out for his next hunt. While Hansen was distracted loading his airplane at a local airstrip, Cindy managed to manipulate her handcuffs, escape from the vehicle, and run barefoot onto a public road, flagging down a passing truck. When she told her horrific story to the local police, they were deeply skeptical. Robert Hansen was a wealthy, well-connected local businessman with a clean record, and he provided a rock-solid alibi backed by his close friends. It seemed like the killer was going to walk free once again. However, a brilliant local detective refused to let the case go and contacted the FBI's Behavioral Science Unit. Legendary profiler John Douglas analyzed the case and immediately recognized the traits of a classic serial predator. Armed with a psychological profile, the police secured a massive search warrant for Hansen's home. What they discovered inside completely shattered his innocent disguise. Hidden in a secret compartment in his attic, detectives found the jewelry and personal trophies of missing women, along with a collection of high-powered weapons. But the most damning piece of forensic evidence was a detailed aviation map of Alaska, marked with small, handwritten X symbols. Each X represented a hidden grave where Hansen had buried a human being he had hunted down. Realizing that the mountain of physical and forensic evidence was completely undeniable, Hansen collapsed during his interrogation and confessed to everything. He detailed the executions of at least 17 women, leading investigators to the skeletal remains buried deep in the frozen Alaskan dirt. In 1984, he was sentenced to 461 years in prison, ensuring that the human hunter would spend the rest of his natural life behind bars. Now, as we close this dark chapter and look at the absolute horror of his double life, a profound question remains. Do you believe that Robert Hanson's ability to evade justice for over a decade was due to his own meticulous criminal planning? Or did society's willingness to trust a successful, gentle businessman create the perfect blind spot for a monster? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.